Okay, reaction video. This is Lost in the Pond, six major culture shocks experienced in the United States Midwest. Now, I live in the Midwest, and I live in Ohio. I'm in Arizona. This is my last day in Arizona right now. But I'm kind of curious. I've always kind of curious on why we're considered the Midwest in Ohio when we're really more closer to the east uh, than the West. But okay. I'm kind of curious. He's in Chicago, so I'm kind of curious to see what he has to say here. Six major culture shocks experienced in the United States Midwest.
Hello, I'm Lawrence, and I'm on a quest to uncover all of the memos that Britain and America lost in the pond, and one of those memos pertains to culture shocks. Specifically, culture shocks that I, as a British man, experienced after moving to...
I had some culture shock. I don't say culture shock. They weren't major shocks to me when I visited Germany back in 2006. Uh, there was when you go to a restaurant in the United States and you get order a drink, you get free refills on the Coke products or Pepsi products, whatever you get. In Germany, you don't. And I guess in most of Europe, you don't, or all of Europe, you don't. Um, you also get it without ice. In America, you get a bunch of ice. That was something that was different. But I still enjoyed my time in Germany. But I'm kind of curious what he's going to say here.
the Midwest of the United States. And I know what you're thinking, ooh, Lawrence, he's just going to talk about how terrible the snow is again, or how the temperatures are unfit for humans.
That can happen. That is true.
No, I've done all that. The winter is over. It's time to get mad about something else. In other words, this is a fresh look at the things that I found weird after moving to Indiana and then later Chicago. Having moved to the Midwest 14 years ago from Britain, here are culture shocks I experienced in the Midwest. So, it's quite possible that you've heard me talk about mosquitoes before and how in my first year of living in the United States they almost took my face off.
Yeah, I have some friends who believe that, from as far as mosquitoes are concerned, every single mosquito that's ever been born uh, is as a job to specifically bite that individual person. People say that all the time. I have more than a few friends that have told me about that. And yeah, the mosquito problem, especially in the summer, is a pain in the ass.
But the Midwest is known for other flying things that get in your face, and one of those things is gnats. And there's a very timely reason that I should talk about gnats, because about 2.7859 million of them ended up on my front porch yesterday. And for those of you asking, yes, I did initially think they were mosquitoes, and no, I didn't go out to greet them. But this is something that can just happen in the Midwest, right? Swarms of insects with wings just turn up out of nowhere, and you can barely move or see. Now, thankfully, unlike mosquitoes, I am told that gnats don't bite or even sting, which is weird because gnats backward is stang, right? Which sounds...
Yeah, gnats can be a pain, but not like mosquitoes. Mosquitoes, when they bite you, it itches, and you better have a can of off if you're going to go any place outside for a long period of time where the mosquitoes live. But gnats are just gnats.
Sounds like sting. There's a gnat right there on my light. Got in. One of them got in. One of them, a Lone Ranger, is in my studio right now. Might even feature in the video. I don't know. That would be really meta, and also it'd be nice to have a guest, do a collab. I've actually got my phone. Look at that. I can't believe it. We do. We have...
Yeah, we have a gnat.
what appears to be a gnat on my lighting equipment in the studio.
Now, I don't know that I would take a picture of it like he is, but okay. But yeah, gnats do exist, and they just exist. I've been in the Midwest since 1978, so I've learned to live with them.
As we speak. Okay, well, he or she is just going to hang on my lighting equipment. In the meantime, those same gnats, presumably including this one, quickly got out of Dodge amid the following. As an Englishman, I know my fair bit about rain. After all, when we're born, British people are given a complimentary umbrella. But here's the thing, on the whole, we only face light rain. But one of the shocking things I discovered about the Midwest is it doesn't just rain, it pours.
Yeah, sometimes I've had that happen to me when I'm driving down the highway, and all of a sudden not only does the rain come down, it comes down really, really hard, and it makes it almost difficult. Even in summer, it's the weather's nice out, but the rain just comes down. It feels like it's gone from 12 noon, where everything's perfect, you can see everything, till you can't see anything, and sometimes you have to pull over to the side of the road because even with your windshield wipers going, you can barely see 2 feet in front of you.
And the really weird thing about this type of rain is that it was sunny just 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, that does happen too.
And it will be sunny again in 5 minutes' time.
Okay, he's talking about something different. I'm talking about one of the big giant thunderstorms. But yeah, sometimes that happens. All of a sudden, it starts raining, just for about 5 minutes, and then it stops. And it's 90 degrees Fahrenheit and really, really hot. All of a sudden, rain comes on. You rush and you get underneath the cover, and then all of a sudden it just stops and it's back to 90 degrees and everything is dry again in about an hour.
It just pops out of nowhere. I mean, in the south, I think they call it a sun shower. And for the most part, I actually really love this. And do you know why that is? Because I don't ever go outside. Watching it from my apartment window is actually quite a cathartic experience. But I've just realised I probably shouldn't talk about the torrential rain with my colleague just up there fixing the lights, because it might still have PTSD. And actually, it hasn't been all roses for me either, because I do remember there was this one time that I was standing waiting for a bus. And as I recall, I was dressed much the same as I am right now, right down to the pyjama bottoms, when all of a sudden the clouds that weren't even there a moment ago decided to whip out their Super Soaker 5000. And this was in Indiana, so the problem was further exacerbated by this. Brits like me like to moan about the rain, but the truth is, if we're standing at the bus stop and light rainfall happens to fall upon us and we're carrying our complimentary umbrella, we honestly don't know how good we've got it. But in the US, your umbrella is practically useless. And on top of that, so are the buses sometimes. You see, in America, people love their cars. But
Yeah, not a lot of people I know ride the bus. I mean, you can ride the bus. I have a bus stop, which isn't too far from where I live, but a lot of people drive their cars.
Home, I never acquired one because so long as you lived in a relatively large town, the bus systems, no matter how much British people might moan, are relatively comprehensive. And when I say comprehensive, I mean that you can usually get a bus to the other side of town every 10 to 20 minutes. Here in the United States, I'm particularly thinking Indianapolis, I often had to wait between half an hour and an hour. In fairness, I think they have somewhat fixed that problem in the last few years. But you would expect that, wouldn't you, of a relatively large city? In Anderson, Indiana, where I first lived.
If you're talking about a place like Chicago or Los Angeles or New York City, where people use the bus on a regular basis, it's probably a lot better. In fact, I think Chicago has a pretty good bus system, as I understand it. Where I live in Ohio, there's a bus system there, and it's actually pretty good. Like he says, they have fixed it a little bit better, but not a lot of people use buses in the United States. Most people have their own cars and drive around with their own cars. And that's not just in the Midwest, that's everywhere.
I don't think I saw a bus in about 4 years, even though I was told there was a bus system there. And so if you're moving to the Midwest from Europe, just know that you'll probably have to get a car or several. In Britain,
that is true.
And just, all across Europe, there's a certain look to how people dress. It's that kind of European look. I don't know how to describe it.
I don't know what a European look is because a lot of the pictures I've seen from Europe, people talk in Europe, they dress just like I do, or dress just like normal people in the United States do. But I don't know what he's talking about here, but like I said, most of the people I've seen in Europe dress pretty similar to American. I could be wrong. Okay, I'm not an expert on Europe. Okay, last time I was there was 2006. When I was walking around, everybody seemed to be dressed the same way that I was.
Because I'm not a fashion expert, but I think the clothes, generally speaking, are more sleek. We can afford to dress more sleekly. Is that it better be a word? Because we obviously don't have temperatures that are more akin to Greenland. So in the winter, we can get away with, a trench coat. Do people still wear those? I do, just not in the winter, because I live in Chicago. Here in the Midwest, specifically in winter, everybody dresses in the baggiest clothes you've ever seen. So baggy jeans, baggy shirts, baggy hoodies, baggy bags.
That is true. I see a lot of people. I don't dress in baggy clothes. I really don't. But I do see a lot of that stuff in the mid. Well, I don't know if it's just the Midwest. I think in the Pacific Northwest they do it as well. But Yeah, there's a lot of people who wear stuff like this.
And at first I thought this was weird, right? But after a week of living in the United States, I became a baggy clothes convert. And that's because back then everything was a novelty, so I wanted to be outside experiencing it all. But to do that, you have to dress up in about 3 layers of flannel, and for my British audience, I'm not talking about washcloths. These days, I have reverted more back to my European ways, he says, sitting in his pyjama bottoms. But that's because I no longer go outside or interact with anyone. I can't speak for the rest of the United States, but if there's something I know about Midwestern cuisine, it's that they put cheese in absolutely everything. So you got...
Not necessarily everything, but look, there's a lot of things that we do, and we do like our cheese. Now, I've never heard the term bees cheese, but we do definitely like our cheese.
Cheese curds, mac and cheese, Chicago-style pizza, cheeseburgers, cheese just on its own, chili topped with cheese, and a food item that looks like something that Indiana Jones would run away from, a cheese ball. And if that wasn't enough, one of the Midwestern states to the north of me, Wisconsin, has sort of made cheese.
Cheeseheads, yes, for the Green Bay Packers. Yeah, I can't deny that. We do like our cheese. We like our cheese on our pizza. We like it on our baked potatoes. We like it on our. We have nachos with cheese, but that goes with the territory. We like cheeseburgers, cheese on French fries, or cheese on chips for you guys, for the people in England. Yeah, we do like our cheese.
Its entire personality. Wisconsin produces more cheese than any other state in the Union. It's got its own style of cheddar, ironically named after both the village and the cheese from England, and is even home to the unincorporated community of Cheeseville. Cheese. If you've been watching my channel this year, you'll know that the United States is absolutely jam-packed with regionalisms. Grinder is Boston slang. It's a word that is often used to describe a sub sandwich.
Yeah, there's a place in Ohio called WG Grinders, which makes sub sandwiches, and they make it in the Boston style.
It's often used to describe people who move from
colder
climates in the year.
Yeah, I'm looking at the snowbird. My parents are actually snowbirds. They live half the year during the winter time in the Midwest down in Florida, and then during the spring and summer they live up in Ohio. But yeah, snowbird is a term.
Down to the south. Can't remember exactly what it is.
A cougar, if he's talking about what I think it is, it's an older woman who goes after younger men. We don't have a lot of cougars. I mean, the cats that live around the Midwest, at least not that I've seen any.
Because we don't really have them in Chicago, so I don't bump into too many cougars. At least not this definition of the word. And the same is true of the Midwest. So for instance, when talking about fizzy drinks, Midwesterners usually refer to
pop. I believe that's what he's going to say.
To that as pop, whereas many other people in America say soda, or in this...
Yeah, that comes from soda pop. But when I was in South Carolina, they called it soda. If I called it a soda in Ohio, they didn't know what I was talking about. But if you say pop, everybody knows what you're talking about.
South, they just say Coke to me.
Yeah, even if it's a Pepsi in the South, it's still Coke.
In any type of fizzy drink. I've talked about puppy chow before, which is something that humans in theory eat and is not in fact dog food. Regionally though, this goes by multiple different names, such as monkey munch, muddy buddies, muddy munch, reindeer chow, or doggy bag. And if you're ever in a situation where you're in a corridor,
I'll be honest, I've never heard of any of that stuff before.
And there's somebody coming toward you and you both do that thing where you're trying to get out of each other's way, that person will probably say, "Oop," whereas I've just learned to say, "Move." And how could I ever forget?
I've never heard the word "ope" before, and you go, "Oh, no." Well, maybe that's what I just did it, but no, I've never heard the term "ope" as something that's said. I usually, if I'm walking and somebody's in my way, I just say, "Excuse me," and go to the side. I'm not too proud that I want to, make them move to the side. I'm happy to move to the side.
The word that my mother-in-law uses to describe what I refer to just broadly as a hoover, which is
we call it a vacuum cleaner.
Vacuum cleaner. My mother-in-law calls it a sweeper. Basically,
and I've actually heard people describe it as a sweeper as well. I had worked at a place when I was younger, and they called it a sweeper. So I've heard that term as well.
There are just lots of Midwestern words that I didn't encounter until I moved to the United States of America. To learn more, watch my recent video guessing the meaning of these Midwestern words. To have a padiddle, to take a padiddle, that
I've never heard the term padiddle.
seems sensible to me. In the meantime, that's it for this video. Let me know in the comments below if you've been to the Midwest or whether you live here. I'm Lawrence Brown. You can follow me on Twitter at LostInThePondUS, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that my videos don't get lost in the pond.
Yeah.
A huge thank you to my patrons who I get to talk to about this stuff on my Friday afternoon secret streams. If you would like to become a patron of Lost in the Pond, you can do so today at patreon.com/lostinthepond.
Yeah, this is a good video. I enjoyed this. You know, like I said, I'm from the Midwest. Some of the things that he talks about, I have no clue because of some of the words, but he's pretty accurate about a lot of it. This was interesting. Yeah, please click like and subscribe for him, and please click like and subscribe for me. This is my second video of Lost in the Pond, and I enjoy his take on these things about coming from England over to live in the United States. I said I've only been over to Europe one time, and that was in 2006 during the World Cup. I saw a lot of things in Germany, and I thought it was a very, very nice place, friendly place. But I wasn't there long enough to find too many things that strange. But like I said, the thing about you don't get free refills and they don't put ice in their drinks. I'm trying to think of some other things that threw me off guard when I was over there. Not a whole lot. It was pretty much a lot of it was common sense. But still, I enjoyed my time in Germany. But yeah, please click like and subscribe. And yeah, this was fun. Thanks very much for watching, and till my next video.